Rajeshwari MJ. She pursued her BE in Electrical and Electronics at the People's Education Society College of Engineering, Mandya. She pursued her MTech in VLSI Design and Embedded Systems at the Sri Jagadguru Balagangadharanta Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Her personal skills lie in good verbal and written communication skills. Her areas of interest lie in OOPS with C++, renewable energy sources, HVDC transmission, digital relays, automotive electronics, advances in VLSI design. She has also had papers presented at the national level, such as the Innovative Architecture for SoC Multi-Core Hybrid Processor, presented at the RNSIT, Bangalore.
Welcome to UGC lecture series of BSc Physics Honours. Today we are dealing with the subject electronic and devices. So, in the electronic and devices subject, we are going to concentrate on different types of semiconductor devices, that is two terminal semiconductor devices like diodes and 3 terminal devices like transistor and in application. A diode as a rectifier we are going to study in detail, and also the transistor as an amplifier and also as an oscillator. We are going to study the different types of transistor and its application. So, the very first topic that we are going to deal with in this subject, that is electronic devices, is circuit analysis. So, the circuit analysis consists of analyzing the circuit. So, how we are going to solve the solutions for a problem if we are given for a circuit. In the sense, if we want to find a voltage or a current flowing through a branch or and also the voltage across any element in a circuit, some of the method that we need to follow and some of the rules are there and theorems are there that we need to follow for finding voltage or current. So how we are going to analyze a circuit. So, everything that we are going to study in detail in this session. So, some of the contents that we are going to discuss today are Kirchhoff law and mesh analysis, node analysis. In the Kirchhoff's law, we are going to study about Kirchhoff's voltage law and also Kirchhoff current law. So, let us start with some of the terminologies. These are the terminologies that is very basic for the circuit analysis. So, we need to have this terminologies to know better before starting to study the Kirchhoff law. So, very first thing we need to know what is an electronic circuit. So, an electronic circuit is constructed by connecting together a collection of separate elements at their terminals. So, the circuit that we are going to use here throughout the subject we are going to use all the circuits will having a connecting terminals. So, that connecting terminals will be connected together by connecting together a collection of separate elements at their terminals. So, we are going to make different terminals has to be connected and it is going to make a separate elements has to be connected each other. This collectively is called as a electronic circuit. That is, we are going to say that electronic circuit is constructed by connecting together a collection of separate elements at the terminals. That is why it is called as electronic circuit, and the elements that we are going to use in electronic circuit, it's like resistance, capacitor, inductance or impedance, like this we are going to mention as an elements of a circuit. So, the junction points at which the terminals of 2 or more elements are connected are referred to as the nodes. So, the nodes we are commonly used now onwards, that is nodes in the sense the junction points. Here in the picture we can easily understand that the junction points at which the terminals of 2 or more elements, like this is one element, this is another element, 2 or more elements are connected are referred to as the nodes of a circuit. When we are connected 2 elements, there will be formation of nodes here, 2, 1, 2, 3 elements are connected for this nodes. So, when we are going to connect 2 or more elements, that point will going to form a node. So, this is what a node is. Next, the connections between the nodes are referred to as a edges or branches of a circuit. So, the connection between the nodes, this is one node and this is another node if we consider. In the dotted line that what we represent, this is a branch, this is a branch, that is why it is represent branch. This green color dot is represent the branch. This is what the definition of a branch, the connection between the nodes is referred as a branch. Next, loop, we need to know what does loop means. Circuit loops are defined to be closed paths through a circuit along its branches. So, along its branches is going to form a closed loop. So, this is branch, we already know this is one branch, also we know this is another branch, and this is having 3 nodes, and the loop will going to form a closed path. Though this green dots, this here will going to form a loop. This is what the definition of loop, and this is going to form a closed path. So, next we need to know the importance of Ohm's law here, because for circuit analysis this is a basic thing that we need to know about Ohm's law. So, Ohm's law is clearly states that for a fixed resistance, the greater the voltage across a resistor, the more the current. The more the resistance for the same voltage, the less the current. That is what it is telling, that current is directly proportional to voltage, keeping the constant resistance. If we increase the voltage, current also increases. If we decrease the voltage, current also decreases, and keeping the resistance as a constant. So, this is what the Ohm's law states. So, the basic circuit that we are considered here for defining a Ohm's law is having a supply E and a resistor R. I is a current flowing through the circuit, and V is a voltage across this resistor. So, here how the Ohm's law formula will be for current. I is equal to E by R, this is the supply voltage or EMF, we can say. I is equal to E by R, E is equal to I into R, and R is equal to E by I. This is, we can rearrange the Ohm's law to find current, voltage and resistance. So, this is the importance of Ohm's law, and we can able to find current, voltage or current or resistance with the help of Ohm's law. So, with the help of this we can able to find the polarities. The polarities is the main thing that we need to know, because for finding current or voltage we need to mention the polarities for an element. So, inside a circuit, for analyzing any circuit, the polarities for an element is must. So, now this is how we are going to define polarities for a resistor. For an isolated resistive element, the polarity of the voltage drop is shown in figure here, that is the current entering here, it is always mentioned as a positive, and the current leaving edge, it is called as negative. See, we see from the figure we can able to see that the resistor will have 2 terminals. We always consider the current entering terminal as positive and current leaving terminal as negative. And similarly, in the B we also represent current in the different direction, that is, it is coming out of the resistance. It is always says current moving from here and it is coming out. So, here it is minus here, this terminal, and this terminal will be plus. So, this is how we are going to define the polarities for a isolated resistive element. So, next we move to the very simple example how we are going to apply the Ohm's law for a simple circuit. So, here the problem is calculate the current through the 2 k ohm resistor, which is shown in the figure if the voltage drop across it is 16 volt. So, current we need to find, voltage is already given and resistor value is also given. So, what is the current formula? I is equal to E by R. We are going to substitute if E value here, that is 16 volt, and resistor value, that is 2 k ohm. This will going to, by simplifying this, we are going to get 8 milliamps current. So, another example for using a Ohm's law, how we are going to find the voltage. Calculate the voltage that must be applied across the soldering iron of figure, which is showing here, to establish a current of 1.5 amps through the iron if its terminal, if it is having internal resistance is 80 80 ohms. So, what will be the voltage here? We are going to substitute for the formula E is equal to I into R. I is what, 1.5 amps and 80 ohms, which will going to give 120 volt. So, this is how we are going to find the voltage for using a Ohm's law. Next is Kirchhoff's law. So, Kirchhoff's law it's having two types of law. One is voltage law, another one is current law. Both these laws are depends on conservation of energy theorem, that is energy cannot be either be created nor be destroyed. This is the basis of this Kirchhoff's law. So, Kirchhoff's circuit law are equally having which is principle of this Kirchhoff's law is mainly depend on conservation of energy. So, first thing that we are going to start with is Kirchhoff's current law. So, this law is also called Kirchhoff's first law or Kirchhoff's point rule or Kirchhoff's junction rule or nodal rule and Kirchhoff's first rule. This is whatever the name we can say that deals with the Kirchhoff's current law only. So, the principle that we are taken is of electric charge, that implies at any node in an electrical circuit, the sum of the current flows into that node is equal to the sum of currents flowing out of that node, or we can also define it as the algebraic sum of currents in a network of conductors meeting at a point is 0. That is what, the sum of the current going into the point and sum of the going current out of the point is always equal. So, this is what the Kirchhoff's current law defines. And also when we are going to speak strictly about the KCL, it also only applies to the circuit with steady current, that is which is having DC, and however for LC or circuits also we are going to apply this. This is having dimensions much smaller than a wavelength. KCL is also approximately applicable only for the AC circuit which is having dimensions, which is having smaller dimensions. We can apply the KCL for AC circuits also. So, with the help of figure we can understand how this current equation will be for a KCL rule. The current entering any junction is equal to the current leaving that junction is what the KCL defines. So, here the current entering is I3 and I2, the current entering is I3 and I2, that is plus, that is what, I2 plus I3 is equal to, and I1 plus I4, current leaving is this 2, I1 plus I4. So, current entering the sum of current entering junction is equal to the current leaving at particular junction is called as a Kirchhoff's current law. So, and also we can also define this in another way, recalling that current is a sign here and it is having positive or negative, that quantity reflecting direction towards or away from a node. This principle can be stated like summation of I is equal to 0. So, if we can also by defining a polarity which is moving towards, we can take as positive and moving away is taken as negative. If we taken like this, the summation of I2 plus I3 and minus of I1 and minus I4, that is equal to 0. That is what this summation of I is equal to 0 states. So, next we move on to Kirchhoff's voltage law. So, this law is also called as Kirchhoff's second law or Kirchhoff's loop or mesh rule, and Kirchhoff's, it is also called as Kirchhoff's second law, and it is also based on the principle of energy conservation of energy. And the definition for this is the directed sum of the electrical potential differences around any closed circuit is 0. And here we are talking about the voltage, there we are talking in a KCL about current. And also in other way we can define this, the sum of the EMFs in any closed loop is equivalent to the sum of the potential drops in that loop. So, that is why it is called as loop, because in the sense we are taking the sum of the EMFs in any closed loop and it is equivalent to the sum of the potential drops in that loop. So, and also this KCL law is strictly applied to the circuit with steady current, that is DC circuits, and also it can also apply for the AC circuits having same like what we taken conditions that in KCL it should have a dimension much smaller than a wavelength. Then we can apply for the KVL for an AC circuit also. So, here also we have taken some good examples for defining the KVL. the algebraic sum of the products of the resistance of the conductor and the currents in them in a closed loop is equal to the total EMF available in that loop. So, this is the summation of EMF that is equal to drop. So, summation of drop. So, this is equal to this, or we can also say the summation of voltage that is equal to 0. If we taken the example, circuit example or loop that in the circuit here. So, for the picture that we apply KVL, it becomes like this. The voltage V1 plus V2 plus V3 minus V4 that is equal to 0. It is how we are taken, if we taken if we specify the elemental polarities. So, if we are taken positive negative here, and if we taken the clockwise direction, if you are taking from if moving from negative to positive is taken as negative in the sense. If you take a negative to positive, if you taken V4, if moving from negative to positive as a negative, and that is why it is minus V4, and here the current is entering here and leaving here, that is this terminal is positive, this terminal is negative. So, from positive to negative the current flows. So, we are reading here from positive to negative. So, V1 is taken as positive. Again here the polarities become positive and negative because the current flows from here to here. So, this also become positive, that is why V2 is also positive, and similarly V3 also positive, only V4 is negative we are taken here. This is equal to 0 as per a definition of KVL. So, next move on to another type of analysis, how we are going to analyze a circuit. The circuit is usually analyzed with this whatever that laws that we discussed, that is KCL or KVL. So, KCL is usually applied for a circuit to find the current, that is for nodal analysis we can say, and for mesh analysis which is loop analysis, that for that we are going to use the KVL where we are going to find the voltages. So, the mesh analysis or mesh current method is a method that is used to solve planar circuit for the currents at any place in the circuit. Planar circuit in the sense with the circuit which can draw on a paper without any crossover of a wiring, that can be called as planar circuit. And mesh analysis works by arbitrarily assigning mesh currents in the essential meshes. An essential mesh is a loop in the circuit that does not contain any other loop. So, whatever the mesh that we are going to consider in a complex circuit, in the sense we have to divide this mesh in such a way that it has to be considered having only one and only one loop if we consider a mesh. So, inside that any further loop should not be exist if we are going to analyze that loop as a mesh analysis. So, whenever we want to analyze a circuit with a mesh analysis, the loop should be of single, there should not be any interloop inside it. That is the first major thing when we are going to use this mesh analysis for a circuit. So, some of the steps that we need to remember for determining the mesh currents: assign mesh currents I1, I2, like that we are going to assign for each loop that we are going to consider. So, loop in the sense that we are going to use whenever we speak about the loop, that we are going to use a KVL there, and here we are going to find the mesh current with the help of KVL. IN, like that for different loops we are going to mention the mesh currents like I1, I2 till IN. To the n meshes, to the n mesh numbers we can give this different currents. So, the current direction need to be same in all meshes, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So, the whatever the current that we are consider for one mesh, that has to be followed to all other mesh. If we consider one mesh as a clockwise, we need to maintain the same direction for different meshes. So, if we are maintained at starting mesh as an anti-clock, we need to maintain for all the meshes as an anti-clockwise. So, next apply KVL. As I said before itself, whenever we talk about mesh analysis, KVL, that is what the law that we are going to apply. So, apply KVL to each of the n meshes. For every n meshes we are going to apply the KVL so that we can find the mesh currents. So, use Ohm's law, to express the voltages in terms of the mesh currents. So, we are going to express the voltage in terms of mesh current. So, the I term will be present in every equations when you are going to speak about Ohm's, when we are going to use the Ohm's law for each mesh. If we are going to represent everything voltage in terms of current, so we are getting current in every equation, that will make us easier to find the mesh current. Solve the resulting n simultaneous equation to get the mesh currents. So, we get n number of equations. As I said, when we are going to apply KVL for n elements, obviously we are going to express the voltage in terms of the mesh currents. So, we are going to get n simultaneous equations which is having current in each equation. So, we need to now we are going to simplify this simultaneous equation so that we can get our different mesh currents value for each mesh. So, this example will makes a clear picture of what is a mesh analysis and how we are going to follow what the steps that were previously discussed, how we are going to apply step by step analysis for a mesh analysis. So, the circuit that we are taken here, which is having two meshes. This is one mesh, that is A, B, E, F is one mesh, that is one loop, that is the current here is I1 that we are taken, and it is the direction is taken clockwise, and is next is another mesh, that is B, C, D, E is another mesh, and which is having I2, and this is also this is I2 is a current of mesh current of this mesh, which is the direction taken here is also clockwise. Now, apply KVL to each mesh. So, first we start with the mesh 1. If we taken the mesh 1 starts with the V1, the supply we are taken from negative to positive, which is considered as a negative. So, V1 will be minus V1 plus, again it is moving, current is moving here, this is positive terminal, this is negative terminal. So, it is moving from positive negative, we have taken this positive to negative direction as a positive. So, again this here the voltage is across the resistor 1 R1 is R1 I1 plus R1 I1 we are taken. Next again it is moving here, the current I1 is moving here, it is positive and it is negative here. The voltage across R3 is plus R3 into I1 minus I2. Why? In the sense here the R3 is having the current both I1 and I2. The current flowing here is actually I3 not I1, because I3 is equal to I1 minus I2. So, that is we have directly substituted I1 minus I2, that is equal to 0. For now we are going to simplify this. So, after simplification we will get R1 plus R3 into I1 minus R3 into I2, that is equal to V1. So, similarly we apply for the mesh 2 here. So, mesh 2 will be having V2 as an supply here, we is considered with the, we will start with the R2, which is the current flowing across the R2 is I2, and this terminal is positive here and this is negative here. So, the voltage across R2 is R2 into I2, that is positive, we have written here. Next plus positive to negative, which is a positive, plus V2 we are taken. Again now we are going to consider the voltage across the resistor R3. So, whenever we are considering that mesh will be having the current will be first comes, and after that we need to minus the remaining mesh. So, I2 minus I1 here, that is what I3 that we are going to represent, R3 into I2 minus I1 for the voltage across R3. So, that is equal to 0. So, again rearranging this we will get minus R3 I1 plus R2 plus R3 into I2, that is equal to minus V2. So, this is the two simultaneous equation that we get from two meshes. So, this is how we get for different simultaneous equation for different meshes. Next, for how we are going to solve for getting a mesh current, what is the next solution is, if we are going to solve this using a matrix method, that is we are going to have two matrix like R1 plus R3 in a row minus R3, again minus R3 R2 plus R3 is another row term in row elements, and that is multiplied by I1 and I2 element, that is equal to V1 by V2, which will going to give us a mesh current like this. For use I for a mesh current and big I for a branch current, it is evident from here. So, for small I we always use for a mesh current, and the bigger I which will be a branch current, which will going to differentiate in a circuit. So, after simplification we may get the currents for different branch the current will be like this. For I1 branch, I1 small may be the mesh current. So, this is the steps for analyzing a mesh using a mesh analysis, how we are going to find the mesh currents which is having n number of meshes also. But here that what we have taken in the previous example, which is having only 2 meshes, that is why we are getting only I1 and I2 as a current. If it is having 3 meshes, this will be I1, I2, I3 will be there. So, after simplifying we can able to get the current value. So, next we are going to know about the nodal analysis. In electric circuit analysis, nodal analysis or node voltage analysis or the branch current method is a method of determining the voltage, that is a potential difference between nodes. That is nodes in the sense we already know, that is the points in between the elements or branches, that is when two or more elements are connected, that is called as nodes. So, nodal analysis is possible when all the circuit element branch constitutive relations have an admittance representation. That is a situation, there we are going to use a nodal analysis. So, the main thing that we need to remember is whenever the nodal analysis, in the sense the very first thing is we are going to apply the KCL here, that is Kirchhoff's current law, we are going to apply for this method. So, some of the steps that we need to remember for nodal analysis is, note all connected wire segment in the circuit, these are the nodes of a nodal analysis. So, all connecting wire segment, that is nodes, that are prominent nodes in the circuit, that we need to note down first. Next, select one node as a ground reference. The choice does not affect the result and is just a matter of convention. Choosing the node with most connections can simplify the analysis. So, one node that we always consider as a reference node, and this should not affect the result also, that we need to keep in mind. And also the nodes which is having more elements, connected elements, that we need to consider first for simplifying the circuit or for better nodal analysis. Next, assign a variable for each node whose voltage is unknown. So, we are going to mention different names for each node, that what we have taken already, and if the voltage is already known, it is not necessary to assign a variable. So, unknown, if we do not know the voltage for that node, we are going to preferably we are going to assign as a node. If it is known, the voltage is already known, it is not necessary to assign a variable for that node. For each unknown voltage, form an equation based on Kirchhoff's current law. Basically, add together all currents leaving from the node and mark the sum equal to 0. So, now after getting different nodes, now we are going to apply the KCL for that is current law. That is how that is what we previously discussed, the current entering and leaving, that we are going to consider and make it as the summation of algebraic sum of the current entering or leaving to the circuit is equal to 0. That is what the KCL. So, if there are voltage sources between two unknown voltages, join the two nodes as a super node. The currents of the two nodes are combined in a single equation and a new equation for the voltage is formed. So, if we consider the voltage which is having more than two voltage source, then we are going to make a which is having voltage source between two unknown voltages, we are going to make that node as a super node. So, joining the two nodes, we are going to make it as a super node by combining them. So, solve the system of simultaneous equations for each unknown voltages. When we apply the KCL, we get the different simultaneous equation according to the nodes. After that, the same procedure as what we discussed in mesh analysis, we are going to solve for different simultaneous equation. So, finally, we come to the end of this session. The very first thing that we have discussed about in this session is about the Ohm's law, which will going to clearly mention that In the Ohm's law, the voltage applied is directly proportional to current, keeping the resistance constants, which is very helpful in circuit analysis. And the most important two types of law, which is based on conservative of energy principle that we are used in both the law, that is Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff voltage law. And also we come across mesh analysis. In the mesh analysis, where we are going to use the KVL, which is based on the KVL, and in the nodal analysis, where we are going to use Kirchhoff's current law for finding different voltages in different nodes, and in the mesh analysis is going to find the currents in a different loops or different meshes. So, this is what the session is about. Some of the questions of the session are: define Ohm's law, differentiate between KVL and KCL, what is mesh analysis, what is nodal analysis. This ends the session. Thank you.